Welcome to my channel, and I'm here to inspire you, give you crochet advice, and help you along with your next project. If you enjoyed this pattern, please give me a thumbs up or even comment so I can gauge your interest. It helps me to know what to film next. I'm not very formal. Here's today's zinger. Kind of looking around my house, and it really needs to be dusted, so I think I'm just gonna sit here and crochet and let my mind forget about it. It's not going anywhere. Let me just grab my hook and yarn and let's begin to play. Let's start today's tutorial. Before we get started in the tutorial today, I want to let you know that this hat is pretty big. It's very easy to style anything in the patterns. I followed the instructions as is, and it's all scrunched up and it looks really quite amazing on the model, and I feel like it's too big. Now the size here is absolutely perfect, and so what I'm going to do before I get too far into this is that I'm going to give you an alternative to be able to splice it down. So I believe for my own self that I'm going to splice it at the gray area, so I'm going to take this back to the studio and I'm going to cut it down and make it to a different size. So I feel like the last the last four sections right here is a little bit too much, and that's just a personal preference, so you can decide what works for you, but I don't want to leave that untouched in this video, because if somebody creates that, they're gonna say that's huge. It is huge. So of course, with any pattern, make sure that you alter towards what you believe that it should be. So that's it, and I will go to the studio right now. Welcome back to the Crochet Creative. So it's my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on the Valentine hat. I've been eyeing up this hat for quite some time, and I want to see what it looks like in a different color scheme. So what I'm doing is that I'm substituting the colors. So this is for an adult. You have 3 sizes to work with because your head may be slightly different, even though we're all adults pretty much, except for the kids that are watching and the younger children. So what we have is that the finished hat size right here, it can either be 20.5 inches in the circumference that is around. It can be 22 or 24, and where we see that information is that when we're going to work through this, it says width B, chain 66, 72, or 78. That's in the same order of the hat size. So when you're looking at it from here, it's small, medium, and large. So small, medium, and large. Small, medium, and large. So what I'm going to do is I'll just show you what my color scheme is going to be, because I've already picked and I chose what I had in my collection. So let's show you what I'm going for today. So here's my color choices that I'm going to go for today. Instead of raspberry, I'm going to be using grenadine. So it's a very vibrant color. For B, instead of what do we have here? Purple, I'm going to use orchid. And then for C, instead of carrot, I'm going to go for this lemon color, Super Saver. And then for D, I'm going to go for spring green instead of ranch red. What the heck, right? So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna try this out and see how it goes. You'll need a 5.5 millimeter size size I crochet hook. You should know that when you have a gauge like this, because it is a wearable, you may want to check that, and I will leave that to your discretion to do. This is an intermediate level, and we're going to begin with the color B first. Let's begin. So I'm going to begin with the color B, and I need you to chain either 66 for small, 72 for medium, and 78 for large. Here's the tip. Let's just do the first 10 together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once you have the 10th in there, I want you to pull this out and put your hook into the beginning one, and just leave it onto the hook and put it back on and continue to count. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So what's gonna happen is that when you have this completely done, then this chain will not be twisted, because it's saying careful not to twist your chain. So get either all the way to 66, 72, or 78, and I'll be right back. And at the end of that, you may want to just check it to make sure that it's gonna wrap around your head comfortably, and remember that it will condense a little bit as well. So let's get that done, and I'll see you at the end of the beginning chain. So I'm currently on the smallest size. 66 is my chain. I did take it off like this, and I wrapped it around my head. It was a little bit too small, so I am going to jump up to 72. So 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72, and you can retry if that's something that you would like to do. Once you have that completely done, just wrap the yarn and pull through and through, and that will form there, and if you did it right, this should not be twisted as well. So let's now continue to the first round. So let's begin the first round. You're gonna chain up one, and then in each one of the back loop of the chain you want to apply one single crochet. This will be the same number of the number of chains that you did. So what I need you to do on the end of this round is to double count and making sure you have the same amount of stitches that you started with your chains. So if I have 72 chains, there should be 72 single crochets, and etc. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 1. So I'm coming to the end of round number 1, and I verified the count that I still have 72 single crochets, and I'm just gonna join it. Make sure that when you did join it though, it keeps its ring, and you may want to try it on because it's gonna only get a little bit tighter. So if it's too tight now, it's still gonna get a little tighter. So just make sure that you test that before moving on, and we're gonna move on to round number 2. Before we kind of move on here, we have the starting chain. I'd recommend that you probably get rid of it now. We are going to be changing yarn quite a bit throughout this pattern, the colors. So I'm recommending that you get rid of your tails at the time that you're using them. So just pull up a loop, get that out, and so just turn it to the inside of the what will be the hat, and just weave in. So whenever I'm saying just weave in your tails, this is what I mean. You can try to weave it in with your crochet hook, but chances are it will fall out. So if you just spend a couple seconds here and just weave back and forth a total of 3 times on the inside of the hat, you can be guaranteed that it will never come out on you, and that's what I'm strongly recommending. So whenever I say to weave in the ends, this is what it means, but I will not show it each and every time. Okay, so now the ends are woven in. Instead of chaining up one and going in the continuous revolution, we are going to turn our work and go in the opposite direction so that we can create a really cool look on this hat. So round number 2, using the same color, you're just gonna chain up one, and if you're new to crochet, you always have 2 loops that are equaling a stitch. Let me just pull this out. So do you see that? So there's 2. If you use the loop that's closest to you, that's the front loop, and the loop that's furthest from you is the back loop. So you dive in through the center. So when you go to turn it around like this, I've already chained one. In the same one that you did the join with, that's the back loop that you're going to use. So just diving into the center, and this is what's creating the texture look of this hat. And you're gonna go in the back loop only. Now when you turn it around like this stitch right here, when we get there, is part of that. So in order to keep the stitch count the same, you just gotta watch that when you're coming around. So stay on the back loop only and continue around. This is the second round, and we'll be back in just a moment. So when I'm coming back around, I gotta make sure this here belongs to there. So it looks like it's a stitch, but it's technically not. So if you're not sure, you should be able to count, and it will be the same number of stitches that you had before. So in my case it was 72. You were going to slip stitch here. Now this will be the end of this particular color, so I'm going to weave in the ends, but I want to talk to you about this next section that we're about to do, rounds number 3 and 4. So what I'm just gonna do is just put this up and then just turn it and get it ready for the next round, because I'm gonna show you the instructions next. So rounds 3 and 4 is going to be repeated. So we're gonna do 3 and 4 with the color A. We're then going to fasten off. For 5 and 6 we're going to still do 3 and 4, but we're using the color C. 7 and 8 using D, and then 9 and 10 we are going to then use B, but it says do not fasten off at the end of this one. So what I'm gonna do is just quickly show you 3 and 4. You've already done it, but it's just a matter of getting started, and then I'm gonna just continue to change the color and just keep giving you the instruction as we go, but just be very brief about it. So let's do round number 3. So I'm going to bring up the color A. In my case it's grenadine. So what I want to do, I'm gonna show you a little technique here. So we have a join. I've already turned it, so when we were finishing it we were coming around, so I've already turned and I've woven in my end. I want to stay on the back loop only, and when I go to do that I want to do a standing single crochet on the back loop only. So just diving in just to the back loop only, and then just pull the yarn through, and do you see the 2 loops? Pull through. That's considered your first stitch, so that would be a back loop, a single crochet. And now what I want you to do is continuing along just around, and just if you go right up over top of the end you don't have to sew that in, so just drag it for a few inches, or like about maybe an inch or 2, and then you can hide it or use a tapestry needle to do that. Now when you get all the way back around you're going to join it like you joined it before, and then you're going to turn the work and then do single crochet on the back loop only going around. So you just have to use the same color twice and just make sure that you turn at the end of the round, and so then you have the detail showing up in this hat. So please do both 3 and 4 using the same technique, and I will be back in just a moment. So I'm coming all the way back around. This is the end of number 4. So I'm gonna get rid of this color. I did make an executive decision while I was sitting here. I'm going to change out the spring green and I'm gonna make it a light gray instead. So fasten this off and weave in your tails, and then turn your work and get ready then for 5 and 6. So let's talk about 5 and 6 next. So 5 and 6 next is exactly what you just did, and you're going to use the color C as in cat, and please do now 5 and 6 exactly the same way. I'm coming up to the end of number 6. So what I want to do is to join it, and then I want to fasten this off. I'm leaving one strand untouched here so that I always know what is the inside of the hat, and so I'm just going to finish this off, and let's quickly talk about 7 and 8 next. So 7 and 8 is going to be exactly what you already know. So it'll be repeating 3 and 4. Now I bet you're thinking you don't see this in the model. This actually condenses down into each other. So when she's modeling it onto her head, you can see that it's more like this. It's not stretched out like that. So just keep that in mind. So just using the color then D as in dog for 7 and 8. Please repeat then 3 and 4 is just the back loops only that you already know, and do now 7 and 8 on your own. I'll be back in a moment. So I've now just come to the end of 7 and 8, and I want to do now 9 and 10 with the color B as in ball or bob. So what I want you to do is do that, but do not fasten off at the end of number 10, and just meet me there in a moment. So please do 9 and 10 using the color B, and do not fasten off at the end of that. I'll be right back. I'm now at the end of round number 10, and I'm just going to join it. So you still want to turn your work, but you're not going to fasten this yarn off. Now what they're asking us to do in round number 11 is working through both loops. So just a regular stitch, you're just gonna chain up 1 and just do 1 single crochet in the regular stitch, and this will stabilize the texture off from that main section that we just did. So please just do 1 single crochet all the way around, and at the end of number 11 here it says just fasten off. So we're gonna join it and then fasten off, but it says do not turn at the end of that round. That means that we're not going to turn back in the other direction. So please do this now for round number 11, and I'll be right back in just a moment. I'm coming to the end of number 11, so I'm just going to join it to the beginning single crochet, and then this color is gone. So let's get rid of this color, and we're going to move on to number 12, and number 12 we're going to do a whole whack, like a lot of the next color. So just make sure you look at your yarn and make some decisions in case that you don't have enough. So this is a great scrap yarn project. I'm not worried about, see how this is dipping down? That's because we're weaving in the end, so I'm not worried about that at this time. So let's get rid of this yarn and move on to round number 12 next. Number 12 is using the color D. In my case it's light gray. So I want to attach it to any stitch that you want here in the back side, and I want to make sure that I'm going to capture this, and you're gonna have both loops, so you're not worrying about the back loops at all. So what we're going to do on row number 12 is that we're going to just join it. You can do your single crochet join if you like to, or just join chain 1 and then do single crochet. So you're just gonna apply a single crochet in each stitch around, but we're not gonna join it at the end of this round, nor are we going to turn it. So meet me at the end of this round in just a few seconds. I'm coming up to the end of number 12. So what I want to do is that I want to just go into the last one, and this is part of the slip stitch, so it's not part 1, and I want to put in a stitch marker right there. So just using a spare piece of yarn. Every time you get to this moment I want you to keep moving the stitch marker so that you can count the number of rounds. You can also safely count the number of rounds as well. So what we want to do in round number 13 is all the way to 25 is just reach on over and just start. So you're not going to join and then chain 1, and what this is doing is that it's preventing us from having a slip stitch line within the project itself. So it's just gonna be a continuous spiral. So you can either move up the stitch marker or you can physically count. So this is round number 12, and then 13, and you want to be all the way to the end of number 25. So you can do that on a spare piece of paper, write down those numbers and then just check it off as you go, or just kind of just do a whole whack and then count as you go as well. You can decide, and I'll see you at the end of the 25th round in just a moment. You will fasten off, but I'll show you how to finish off that just to make sure that you got it right, because we do have to make sure that we're staying consistent. And I'll be back in a moment at the end of number 25. I'm now at the end of round number 25. I want to follow this line straight on up, and I want to just slip stitch to the next one and just get rid of it. Now unfortunately for me, I've run out of this color and I'm trying to use up some spare yarn here, so I'm going to be not using gray, light gray anymore. I will switch it to another tinge of gray possibly, or something else. I haven't decided yet. But what I want to do at this point is that I want to direct your attention, and I want to face and do the edging of the round 1. So let's just hold this right here, and I want you to fold up this brim. So this is the right side of the work. Fold up the brim. Any loose ends that you'll have to deal with, and you'll want to fold it so that this piece here is just popping out. This is going to be at the very bottom, and so I want to get rid of this now, because when I find when hats drag on my lap, they can kind of like halo. So this is one of my techniques that I would do. So you want it so that this, the 10th round, the loose is the very bottom. Okay, so this is your brim, and you're going to notice it will collapse automatically onto itself. So I want to focus your attention then with the right side of the work, so just do it like this, and I want to do where the joins are, and I want to single crochet around the empty loop that's left on that round. Let's do that, and we're going to use the color A for that. So jumping ahead, let's do the final round here at the edging, and then I can clean up all these loose ends. It just makes me feel better, to be honest with you. So I just want to attach to any one of those spare loops that we did not use, and we're just going to single crochet ourselves around. So I'm doing a standing single crochet and just to start, and then I'm just capturing all these loops in order to do that. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm facing the right side of the work, in the sense that this is what people will see when they're looking at you. So please single crochet yourself all the way around using the color A, and I'll be right back in a moment. So I'm coming all the way around the edging, just join it to the very first one. I want you to take your time now and secure any loose ends that you now have, and then we're going to start fresh clean, and we're going to continue the body of the hat next. And please do that, and I'll be right back. So I have all my ends woven in. Looks pretty cool so far. So I did find some Ogo, so Super Saver Ogo. The tinge is slightly off, but if somebody's gonna judge that, then that means that they don't have enough to do in their lives. I don't want to sweat the small stuff. So we're now going to continue now with round number 26 where we left off, and that's where we're gonna start our journey next. So let's begin number 26 right where we left off using the color B. So I want to attach it with a standing single crochet because it looks nicer. So that counts as the first single crochet, and you're gonna single crochet the next. Let me just bring in a little closer here. So what I want you to do is that in this next stitch I want you to follow it 3 rows down. So 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, and come on right down there. So just put your hook into that space, and then just let the yarn go up over the top and collect it. And when you collect it, you're going to provide a little bit of slack, so just kind of pull up on it. Make sure that it's not too hard in the sense that you're pulling too tightly, and then you're gonna pull through the 2 like that, and that will count as the stitch that it's sitting in front of. So when you go to do the next 2 stitches in a row, 1 and 2, it's gonna stabilize. With stable as stable it gets, right? So now this one here is another spike, and so you're just gonna follow it straight on down where you think it needs to go, and then pick it up. Just kind of be consistent about it as far as the tension, and that counts as the one it's sitting in front of. And so this is a spike stitch going all the way around. Some people like this stitch, some people don't. I think it's just really kind of a neat idea for texture. So then you just do the next one. So just come on straight on down. You can guess as much as you can. If you would like to do random spikes, you can do like go down 3 and then down 2, down 1. It's up to you. So please do this all the way around, and this is round number 26. So I'm coming all the way to the end. The last stitch should be the a drop down. You're going to notice that you're thinking that I'm miscounting the stitches, like as far as going down, but remember it was a continuous circle, so this is higher than it was here. So you may want to compromise on where you want to put that in order to have this look more consistent. You decide. You are the artist after all. So you can come on down, and then you're just going to join it to the beginning. So that was the end of number 26. Let's begin number 27. We're going to continue this yarn on. Rounds number 27, 28, and 29 I'll have you do on your own, but all you just need to do is chain up one and apply one single crochet into each of the stitches. You are doing a join at the end of it, and then you'll chain one and then start a new round. So you are not turning. You only had to turn in the very beginning for the brim for this, as far as I understand so far. So just do please rounds number 27, 28, 29 with the same color, and then I'll meet you at the end of 29 in just a few seconds. I've now just come to the end of round number 29. So I'm going to fasten this off and bring back the color A, and for the next 3 rounds, which is 30, 31, and 32, you're going to repeat exactly what you just did here. So just 3 rounds of single crochet using the color A. So please do rounds number 30, 31, 32, and then meet me back here in just a moment. So get your color going, and I'll be back in a moment with that done. So at the end of number 32, you're just going to join it like you had been before. Get rid of this color, and now for the next 3 rounds, rounds number 33, 34, and 35, you're going to use the color C and do exactly the same thing. So just single crochet around for 3 more rounds with the color C as in cat. Please do that now. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm coming now to the end of round number 35, and I'm just going to join it. So now we're going to get rid of this color, and for the next 5 rows we're going to use the color D as in dog, and for me it's the gray, so it's going to be a different shade of gray, but it's fine by me. So I want to do now rounds number what is it, 36 all the way to 40. It's a total of 5 rounds, and I need you to do that, and I will be back in just a moment. So get those 5 rounds done with your color D, and then we're moving on in the pattern to something else. I'm now finishing up to the end of number 40. It's been a little bit of drama since the last take. We've had our power go out. A tree landed on the power cords, or power lines outside. So now So I now just finished up to round number 40. Now we're going to do 41 to 44 using the color A. So we're going to switch out our color again, and it's just 4 rounds, and the first round is going to be this drop down that we did before. So you already know what to do with that, right? So it's pretty easy. So you just got to change your color to color A and repeat exactly that again. So one round is going to be the spike stitch going down. You will notice that it will be more even because we haven't been going in a continuous circle like revolution, and then the other 3 rounds are the same color. So please do now rounds number 41 to 44 with repeating rounds number 26 to 29 using the color A. Okay, now just finished up to round number 44. So did my 4 rows of that. The first one was a spike stitch. So now we're going to do another 4 rows. This is a pretty large slouchy, just if you haven't already clued into that. So what we have is rounds number 45 all the way to 48. So 4 more rounds are going to be with the color what's it say, the color B as in Bob. And what I need you to do then is just do your single crochet as you already know it for another 4 rounds. Let's do that next, and I'll just leave that with you. Let's continue. I'm now at the end of number 48. So the next 3 rows are just single crochet again, and it will be with the color C as in cat. So do 3 more rows of single crochet. We're almost done, but we still have a few more rows to go. So 3 rows of C, next single crochet. So I'm finally here, and I'm at the end of number 51. So now the next 4 rows or 4 rounds are the same color D, as in dog, and it's just single crochet again, and that's gonna conclude then the top piece, and then we're going to seal that after that. So 4 more rows please of D as in dog, and then you're going to call that an end, and I'm gonna show you how to close that afterwards. So do that and I'll be right back. So I'm now at the end here, and this is the end of number 55. Do not fasten off. Now I'm gonna bring you back to the instructions because at the time of filming this I believe that I have found some errors right in the closing, and I'm going to be addressing that next. I believe that there's an error right in the closing here. This count of 11 and then skipping the 22, that will give you the number 66. And if you remember, and you have to do it 3 times, so that will give you this top one of 66. But I worked on the 72 and somebody could have done the 78. So therefore if I use that for my size it's going to be incorrect. So what you have to do for this counting of 11, this one here is for the one that went for 66. If you did 72 like I did, you were going to do this. You were going to count 12 stitches and then place and skip to the 24th stitch. Okay, so you'll be using the word number 24 for the 72 one. The other one, the bigger size one that we have up here, the 78, you have to go and do this 13. So count 13 stitches and then you have to use the number 26 instead, and therefore you'll do 26 as there as well. So that's something I'm going to submit a revision for Yarn Inspirations. I'll contact the design team after filming, but if you're running into this now and it's still not changed, that's what it is. So I'm gonna show you my size and how that's done, and I'll just tell you how to do your own size when you get there. So let's break down the top into 3 sections. So let's take out your crochet hook, don't finish it off, and we're going to start counting. So let's begin. This is going to count, and this is where we're gonna start. So we're not gonna fasten this one off, but the other 2 times that we have to do this we have to start with fresh yarn. So starting, if you're doing the 66, please count over 11 stitches. If you're doing the 72, count over 12 stitches, and if you're doing the 78, count over 13. So I'm gonna do 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now I'm going to place in a stitch marker at that spot. Now from here we have to count a certain amount of stitches. So for the smaller size, the smallest, you're going to do 22, and for the next size up that I'm doing, you are going to do 24, and then the large size is 26. So starting in the next one, so I'm going to do 24. So start and count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I'm gonna take that one and I'm gonna put it together. Okay, so you know that there was 24, so you could have either 22 or 26 depending on your size. So starting in the next one, you're gonna count the same number that you just did. So in my case it'll be 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So now this 24 is gonna come together. Just easier if I just grab another stitch marker. And now that I did that, you now have equal parts of the 3. So what I'm going to do right where I am, I'm going to turn my work, and you have to do this a total of 3 times, but because you're starting already here, you're just going to pull this back up. So the first one you don't have to join new yarn. So when I go through, I want to equally sandwich it in half. So I'm just going to go through the top and single crochet myself to the point where they're connected. So go through both layers. This is the largest hat other than a top hat that I've ever done. I did a hat when I started crocheting back in 2008, and I made this huge hat. I overcompensated for what I thought the sizing was, and it was massive. It went down to my the brim actually went down to my neck. Oh my. I did the same with loom knitting too. So we're just keeping it both together. And to keep it looking the same, they do want you to fasten off. So right where they're joining, just keep it and join. Because if I continue on, this will look in the opposite direction. So I'm now gonna just pull this up and lock it, and I'll seal the ends later. And so you grab the next one, just turn it and flatten it down. I like my standing single crochets if you haven't figured that out, and you're just gonna sandwich and you're gonna do the same thing. So just attach it and go all the way to the center, and then when you get there just fasten off. You'll weave in the ends later and then do the final side exactly the same way. So I'll be back in just a moment. So once all three are done, you're just going to start taking them, and you may be able to actually put your stuff so that it captures all the three strands at the same time. So taking the three strands, I'm just gonna gather the middle. I'm just gonna go in a circle like that. Pulls it all together, and then I'm gonna dive in, and I'm gonna go right inside the hat itself. Just watch the needle on the other side. And then any loose ends that we have to secure, we still have to do that. So once it's on the inside, then just secure it to some strands on the inside and just have it tie itself into a knot. And therefore you can get rid of that as well. And then you're good to go. So get rid of any tails that you have, and this is a pretty neat hat actually, and I'm gonna try it on next, and that's it. So have a good one, and we hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. It was actually longer than I expected to film, but you know, we had a power out and the whole shebang, but overall I think it's a pretty cool little project. That's it. This is the Valentine hat by yarnspirations.com. Have a good one. We hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.